Hi all, today we're going to be testing the outdoor performance of the Quickie Q700 front wheel drive power chair. It's a good day for a test. There's a bit of rain in the air. We're in the Wiltshire Downs and we're testing it on the Ridgeway. Now there's a famous walk from Wiltshire up to Hertfordshire, but we're just doing a small section today. And here is the Q700F. So you can see front wheel drive, casters at the back, centre mount footrest. This one's fitted with R-neck controls and it's got the Sedeo seating system. Now, as with most front wheel drives, traction shouldn't be an issue. Most of my body weight is going to be going down through the front drive wheels. However, the casters and the centre mount footrest, they're pretty close to the ground. So the problem might be any grounding out of those when we go over some rougher terrain. But what we can do to counteract at least part of that is put the chair in a little bit of tilt and space. So if we press our mode button, bring the joystick back, that just lifts the front up slightly. It doesn't move those front little caster anti-tips though. So we'll have to wait and see how those handle the bumps that we've got coming up soon. So you can see some of the terrain that we're about to go over. It's pretty muddy. We've had a lot of rain in the last few days. And some of this mud is quite deep. You can see a section there where I've just gone through and then reversed back, and the chair actually stopped there. It just completely lost traction on one side. So what I've done is reverse back, and we'll try that again and try and keep some momentum up as we go through it. And we've managed to get through it that time. There's some loss of traction that I can feel, but it's managed to get through it okay. It's coming down this hill. We're at full speed now, which is on this chair 5 miles an hour. Now it's bumpy, you can probably see that by the camera shaking, but it's okay and it feels stable. Now there's a section here that looks to me like it's pretty deep mud, and I don't think we're going to get through that. But let's give it a go, and I might have to get out and push. So there's some loss of traction, I can definitely feel that. And I've just slowed down so we don't lose any more grip. But we've managed to get through. That's quite a surprise. So we managed to get down through that section no problem, and what I've done is turn around and come back up through it. But it's a lot more difficult coming up than it was going down. Now the problem with the front wheel drive, as you're coming up, your weight transfers onto the rear casters. Now those are non-driving casters. The more weight on those means there's less weight on the drive wheels, which are at the front, and it's where all of your traction and your braking comes from. So without that weight going through the front wheels, we lost a lot of traction going uphill, and really struggled to get through that muddy section. So as you can see now, our drive wheels are completely caked in mud. The tread's completely fills, so it's left us with pretty much a slick tyre, which is part of the reason why we've lost that traction. You can see at the back end as well, our casters are caked in mud as well. So we got to another wet section now. This is on the flat though, so we don't have to worry too much about any reduced weight going through the front drive wheels. And the chair's handling this a lot better. I'm not losing any traction at all, even though this is probably slightly muddier than the uphill piece that we had problems on before. So what I'll do is go straight through these puddles here, and that's absolutely fine. There's no traction loss, and that's giving our tyres a nice clean too. And then we're back to where we started. We're on the roadway again. So we're just coming up to another section of the same path, the Ridgeway here. Now this is a much different path to what was on the previous one. If I spin the camera around, you can see this is concreted, and I can't imagine the chair is going to have too many issues coming up here. There's a slight layer of mud over the top, some sticks and some leaves, but I don't think that's going to give the chair a test at all. So just in front of us here we've got a slight curb, so we're going off one level of concrete onto kind of a cobbled section. I presume this is part of the old road. Now we'll see whether we can get up this. It is reasonably steep onto that new level, so our casters our anti-tip casters on the front may ground out here, and it may lift the drive wheels off the ground. So we'll come up here and see what happens. And no, it rode over those quite well. I think those the anti-tips must have ridden straight up over that ledge. We're on the cobbled section now, and the traction is absolutely fine, and I presume that suspension is working quite well on the drive wheels, keeping those drive wheels in contact with the ground. So I've turned around now, we're coming down the hill on that same section, this little change in level between the cobbles and the concrete. We'll come down, see how we feel. And I didn't slow down too much then, but the chair felt completely in control. I didn't have to change too much about the way I drove, and the chair didn't feel like it was going to tip itself down that change in level. It felt safe. So that's our outdoor review done for the Quickie Q700 front wheel drive power chair. I was surprised at how it went over the mud. It was better than expected. However, the mud that we went over, it was okay with me in it. However, I wouldn't recommend this for any of my clients, just because there is a definite risk of the chair getting stuck. It's not too bad for me. I can get up and push the chair if I have to. I didn't have to today. I've still got clean shoes, but there is that risk there, and I think there's enough of that risk there for me to say that it's not going to be suitable for my clients to use with the track in its current condition. In the summer, it may be a whole different story. I think it'll be absolutely fine. The puddles and the mud would have disappeared, and it's not going to be an issue getting this chair up and down, at least this section of the track that we've seen today. Next up, we're going to try the Quickie Q700. This time it's going to be the mid-wheel drive version.